Oh man, that game was so very close until it wasn't, Mitchell. What do you have to say?
That game was absolutely crazy. It lived up to all the expectations we had for Lotus. I mean, just absolute carry pants for Alistair on the Jinx. Got the Quadra, almost could have gotten the Penta. Saved the Flash, though, ended up being very valuable. I mean, JVL with the blind Yone pick absolutely popping off. And Accelerate and LZ, man, they did their job. They camped the crap out of top lane. And I mean, the late game Vlad, the early ganks from Udyr, it was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, while they did win the game earlier, there was a big fight in the bot lane where they went too ham and actually just like went down 2k gold in like 15 minutes, and that was really scary. But another something else happened in the bot lane, and they gained it back. So, I mean, that was interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. It really felt like whichever team dove and messed up the dive was losing, right? First it was Lotus. They messed up that really bad bot dive where the Gnar TP'd with Mega and was just able to completely annihilate everybody. And then like fast forward a couple of minutes and the Volibear is diving on the bot lane and it's the TPs from the Vlad, the Yone came in and cleaned up a bunch of kills, right? So whoever went for the dives, I mean, just not respecting that TPs are on the other side and you're in too deep.
Yeah, so actually the team fight where Alistair got a quadra kill, that was interesting because it looked like Lotus were actually going to lose that, but they won, and then just a huge swing of like tempo and objectives just came onto Lotus, and they won the game. So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting indeed because it felt like in that moment when Alistair got the quadra kill that Lotus was about to throw their big lead, right? Like they just got a nice lead off of, a bad dive from Wyo. And then LZ, he's just gets trapped on the other side and the enemy team's jungle. Kiwi tries to come in and make a play in a 4v5 situation. They start dying. But luckily, JVL gets a ton of damage, gets a ton of knockups with the Yone, and Alistair's actually able to clean up just barely. I mean, it was to the wire. I would really like to see, like, I'm glad Lotus won a game. We want to see 5 games, right? It's for the viewers. But I want to see Lotus clean up a little bit, right? You don't have to throw away your lead, especially when you have like so much scaling with the Vlad and Jinx.
Yeah, so speaking of Accelerate and JVL, they definitely stepped up this game and popped off for sure.
Yeah. Popped off indeed. Top lane. I mean, they kind of flipped the book, honestly. They flipped the book completely with where the priority was going to be. LZ just ganked top lane a crap ton, right? Volibear was ganking top early, and then in the mid game, the Udyr was ganking top over and over again. So yeah, we're gonna take it over to draft here. We're gonna see what they get up in top lane. So let's take a peek here.
Yep. So okay, there's the standard Kaisa Thresh bans for Wyo side and Hecarim again for
Yep.
Lotus.
Hecarim here on the red side. You got to ban it. And the Skarner again. I wonder if we will see a Sivir. Nunu, of course, was very terrifying from Lotus in game 1. I'm really curious. We'll see it. We're actually going to see the Tristana.
Okay.
Interesting. Udyr first pick from Rosero. We haven't seen it a ton from him. It has been banned in most games we see just in general in League of Legends. So Rosero is going to pick up the Udyr here. Does Lotus play Volibear? I'm not entirely sure if we'll see it. We're going to see Sivir for Alistair here.
Okay, so Lotus actually pick up the Sivir, and Alistair, he actually used to be the #1 Sivir in NA last season, so we'll see if that title still holds true for him.
Yep, in North America, he was the #1 Sivir on NA on I believe op.gg. You look up Sivir, there he is, #1 last year. So we'll see how he does on this pick. It's gonna be a Fiddlesticks. Oh my goodness, this is an LZ special from him. You have the big team fight AoEs, the ganks with the hard CC on the Fiddlefear. Going to be very weak in the early game, going to get out-tempoed completely by Udyr, right? This is a pick where if Udyr invades and you don't have lanes that can come help you out, it's very scary for Fiddlesticks early on.
Yeah,
on this.
for sure. Now, there's the Alistar pick actually for the side of Wyo. It is people pick that into Sivir because Sivir can spell shield the head, but the pulverize cannot be spell shielded, and yeah,
Yep.
we will see what happens there. So it
And
looks like Udyr and Alistar from the side of Wyo, they just want to run around, engage.
yep.
We'll see
One
from
one
that.
round engage. I think the important thing to note about Alistair is that he doesn't really care about a Fiddlesticks, right? He gets AoE feared. Alistair can ulti, and then he can punt away the Fiddlesticks ulti. That's the
Vayne.
important thing. Alistair can stop from being CC'd with his Unbreakable, and then punt away the Fiddlesticks ulti and save his team. Vayne here is a classic counterpick into Sivir. We're finally gonna see the
Seraphine,
Seraphine.
finally! 3 games hasn't picked or banned at all, and we finally get it here from most likely Mr. Kiwiism, but we don't never know.
Yeah, you never know. We mostly see it from Mr. Kiwism in the support. Actually, I don't think JVL has played it a single time in XLNC, so we'll have to see if it can be flexed to the mid lane. I'm expecting no, though. It's probably an
Yeah.
answer to the Alistair here. Sivir Seraphine, I mean, Crisp and I, we have a lot of experience playing against
Oh,
it, and it is a devastating lane.
for sure. So looking at these bands, Nivea Casio classic bands for side of Lotus onto Wyo. Trinity
Yep.
is really good. And
Yep.
the Yone ban, actually, they did not want to see that again from JVL.
Yeah, JVL popped off for sure in game number 3 on the Yone. Also played very well in the Oriana game 1. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's just taking comfort picks from each other, don't want to see them. And it's going to be a Vlad. This is a
Vladimir.
flex.
This is a flex for sure. Yep.
Yep. It can go top
Vladimir.
or mid here. So Wyo has to make
Accelerate.
sure they have 2 good lanes into either of them. Go ahead.
Accelerate played really well in the Vlad last game, and JVL also was the Vlad main at one point, I remember. So we'll see what happens there, and we can see what the WyoBoomers decide to counterpick with.
Yeah, I'm curious what they decide to counterpick with. They're probably thinking we need 2 good lanes into Vlad so he doesn't scale. Urgot is definitely a great lane, but it's going to be the
Cho'Gath.
Cho'Gath. This is a
Okay.
fine lane for Vladimir.
Yep, I agree with that statement. And Vlad versus Cho'Gath. Vlad can probably just scale off the Cho'Gath. They both scale, but I mean, Vlad will do much more to than his team than Cho'Gath will. Hopefully, at least.
Yeah, Cho'Gath and Vlad definitely scale in different ways, right? Cho'Gath likes to scale and become a big tank, likes to be able to nom down objectives. But Vlad, I mean, he just gets into your backline and kills your whole team, right? And, there's actually not a lot of good champions for the Vlad to kill, though, right? It's just the Vayne. Who else does a Vlad kill, right? Yes, there is a Silas here that will be picked up, and it's the quick Lucian in mid lane.
Yep. So Vladimir is indeed going top, and Lucian going mid to JVL, and yeah, we'll see what happens here.
We'll see what happens here. I mean, this lane in the mid lane, let's talk about that, right? I am not a mid laner, so I'm not, 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure Lucian absolutely dominates the Silas.
Yeah, I think so too. But one thing I was looking at is that Lotus doesn't seem to have a front line, so and Wyout has a lot of front line.
Yep. Yes, they do. They have a ton of frontline on the side of Wyo. A ton of scaling on both teams here. Vayne, Cho'Gath, Silas, Seraphine, Sivir, Vlad all scale incredibly well into the late game. But, I'm going to have to say that Wyo's comp, once again, more traditional. You have ADC in the bot lane and a bunch of tanks, right? Much more traditional, simple comp. Lotus, 5 squishy laners, 5 ranged champions. It's going to be much more complicated for Lotus to navigate, even if they do get lane advantages, even if they do win early skirmishes. Navigating those mid and late game team fights around Dragons and Barons is going to be incredibly complicated when you can't really tank Baron, right? You can't really tank objectives and hold on to them because of how squishy you are.
Yeah, I will also have to lean a little towards Wyo as I do like the more traditional comps, and I do love a big front line. But what do you think are the win conditions for both teams here, Mitchell?
That's a great question, Chris. I honestly am not entirely sure what the win conditions are, except just scale and whoever gets ahead, right? Like Udyr is going to have a ton of prio over to Fiddlesticks, so expect Udyr to outtempo, outpace, get early ganks pre-6, and take dragons. then the bot lane, Sivir Seraphine, is always going to be pushing a Vayne Alistar in, right?
Mhm.
So Udyr doesn't exactly get to take the dragons, even with his winning matchup, because of the Sivir Seraphine. I mean, both teams just scale into oblivion, right?
Yep, I agree. And
So team fight 5v5s are going to be the name of the game. Whoever wins
yeah,
them, whoever, if Silas can get flanks, if Fiddlesticks and Seraphine can get big ultis, that's really going to be the difference maker here. But, once again, it feels like this is just the meta. If you get ahead, if you get more gold and you play into team fights, you're going to be able to just be much more comfortable and, outstat the opponent. So I think that is going to be it for us. We're going to head on to intermission. Make sure to check out Excellency 2. New Age and Akuma are still duking it out. It's just as exciting as it is here with Lotus and Wyo. So thank you very much. We're going to intermission.
Welcome everyone to Excellency Heavy League Quarterfinals. If you're just now tuned in, where have you been, my friends? Lotus are taking on WyoBoomers, and not only are they taking on the Boomers right now, they're taking on Match Point after coming off a hot victory, looking for the ever evasive reverse sweep.
Yeah, the ever-evasive reverse sweep. We have to start talking about it, Necrox, because it's always going to creep into your mind, just like it will probably creep into the minds of WyoBoomers. We'll have to see if they can get those thoughts out of their head, as Rosero is spotted here. There's no CC. He should be just fine, yeah. There's no CC there. Rosero, yeah, just going to eat it. Just take that base. You're good. You're all good.
Quite hilarious, I'm going to be honest. I was expecting, like, okay, does he start Terrified? Does he start Reap? Either of those have the possibility to fear out of the gate, but no, just ends up with the Bountiful Harvest there on the W. But I do want to talk about a couple things. One is the overall draft, but we'll get into that in a minute. Specifically, JVL has taken Ignite in the mid lane, looking to create lane kingdom here over Trinity, having that same performance in game 1 and 3 really showed up, looking to recreate that godlike performance as well. That's not a good start, my friend. Well, maybe it is, actually.
You'll be just fine. You have PTA. You're gonna win every trade. This is a matter of survival for Trinity in this lane, which is why I really do like the Lucian pick. It's one of JVL's favorites. He's played it 5 times this season too. Mixed success, to be fair. But it is a very good matchup into the Sylas. Later on in the game, the Sylas should be much more useful, of course, particularly with TP. But in the meantime, Trinity will just have to take it from the PTA, from the Ignite. Just gonna have to stay alive and try to be useful in other ways. Stay farmed up. Again, if we want to talk about the drafts in general, this is just a better draft for WyoBoomers. I mean, because they have a composition. There's no composition here for the likes of Lotus. They have picked a bunch of champions that all of these players are comfortable on, just like they did in game 2 in the hopes of dragging this series back. But unless you are deleting Palm Goat with your AoE ultis on Accelerate and LZ at the beginning of fights, you're not going to grind this team down. They have 3 tanky champions plus the Vayne. It's going to be so difficult if you don't get it perfectly right. So they are going to have to dominate lanes. They are going to have to play very well and use this comfort to their advantage like they did in game 2 if they want to keep this series alive and if they want to force the deciding game 5.
We'll see if we can get there, but for now, the teams are trying to get every incremental advantage in the early game. We heard it on the analyst desk, and we've seen it live in game. Every small lead matters so much, and if your lead isn't big enough, big comebacks can happen, just like game number 1 where WyoBoomers clawed a victory from the depths of hell, it felt like, and somehow pulling that one through and then getting game 2 as well. But we're now in game 4. Obviously that means last game did go the way of Lotus. So with this, we can see that the compositions have manifested themselves. Hold on, we might get a kill in mid lane here. Oh my goodness, the damage from JVL is so massive. Ignite flash for flash. We'll take a summoner trade, but Trinity has to get out of here. Has to take a recall, and he'll miss a few creeps for it. Engage in the bot side is going to find Alistair. The spell shield will be used. That means no stun to come through from Birdman. This is the power of Seraphine, which we haven't addressed all too much. Kiwis, I'm going to keep everyone very healthy, but that's not where you want to be. Now he's caught out. Going to get Insect here, almost certainly. Ignite Kiwi. What is this?
Hello? I mean, does he... What? Does he think he's playing well?
I'm lost for words. Chat was telling us, and the analyst desk was telling us that Seraphine was going to be the deciding factor of this game, but I didn't think it would be like that, DJ.
Yeah, neither did I. I mean, I think Kiwi thinks he's still playing on an engaged support because that's what the positioning was. You walked right into a bush that you saw Birdman go into. Your job as Seraphine is to stay literally as far away from another person as you possibly can and make them rage quit the game using your ability. That is your entire design. You can't just walk into melee range of literally anyone. Like, just a mistake there, unfortunately, for Kiwi. Is, you know, it's not the end of the world. It is just the first kill of the game, but it's not a good start for, again, what is mostly not a composition for the side of Lotus, falling behind this Vayne in the bottom lane. The Alistar did pick up the kill, fortunately for them. Rosero should just be able to walk out.
Hopping forward, though, is JVL looking for an extended trade here. The Reap from LZ won't find the mark. And yeah, Birdman's showing up with that first blood. Gold DJ has actually picked up Moby's first item. And this is the Birdman that we know and love. First item, Moby's. The man is all around Summoner's Rift all the time. Showing up mid lane there to make sure no bad things go down for Trinity or Rosero. Is Kiwi hanging around here as well, trying to match the roam, maybe looking for a play. Here they go, trying to find the root with the beat drop just one.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. I don't know if they would have been able to kill him either way. You can see Birdman is hanging around there just to offer protection to his mid laner. So likely would have just been able to escape the Ignite, not quite back up for JBL, but nevertheless feels a little bit bad to not connect that spell. It's the second mistake Kiwi's had this game already, and now they're going to get forced off of the Drake that they had started up. We mentioned it. LZ, not level 6 yet, and he's just a weaker jungler objectively than the Udyrs at this point in the game. The TP will come down. They will secure the Drake. I believe that is a feast stack also that goes over to Papa Francesco. So he will expend his TP for the stack and the guaranteed first Drake. He'll have to walk it back out to top lane. But WyoBoomers should be feeling pretty good about their start to the game. Unlike last time around, they are ahead on gold. They have the first Drake. And again, they have some very nice scaling pieces to this composition.
Yeah, and really didn't think that'd be the way it goes. Seraphine Sivir, such an obnoxious lane. Gets so much priority. You would think that Lotus would be the first to it, but to be fair, Papa commits a TP, and now we're in a unique state. The team with less TPs in total actually has teleport advantage. So Accelerate can now look to make plays, but Kiwi's walking phase first again. What is this, man? You can't keep doing it. Now he's gotten Insect, condemned into the wall. TP from Accelerate will finally show up. Ignite's ticking on a Kiwi, and there's a Silver Bolt proc, but Palm Goat has flash. Can he get away? There's the flash out. Accelerate's looking, but Rosero is there with the stun. Accelerate flashing forward, but the dang speed from the Scuttle Crab from way back when is going to get Palm Goat to safety. Now Accelerate's tilted. Now he wants to chase for more, but he's going to be punished. Now he can't get out, and now the team has fallen apart. Silver Bolt, Palm Goat has 2.
So there's a little something called role reversal in this world, and now Accelerate feels how Papa Francesco felt last game. That was tilting if I have ever seen it. Literally seconds away, inches away from cleaning up the kill on the Palm Goat. You thought, you know, it's going to be fine. You know, they trade 1 for 1 if they're WyoBoomers. They get the TP out. They'll be happy with that. You know, it's okay. But no, they get everything. They get the TP, Palm Goat stays alive, and they ring around the Rosie on Accelerate, who also will fall. That is devastating. It's already a 2K gold lead for the Boomers at 8.5 minutes, and this is not looking good for Lotus.
And the composition for Lotus isn't meant to be playing from behind. LZ is going to have such a big problem trying to find massive ultis if Palm Goat can kite around, and if Papa is this big tank in the front line, they're not going to burn down. They're not going to die. So you just have to wonder, what is going on? Why are Lotus trying to push so aggressively on a game where they should just wait for their ultimates to come online? Kiwi doesn't even have Encore yet, and they're trying to force plays. Accelerate sprinting headfirst into a jungle full of darkness, and he'll see the gray screen for it. It's just simply mistakes, and now Lotus are on death's door. They need to shape up quickly. There is no go next. There is no alternative option for this team except to get knocked out of playoffs by a seed lower than you. And now Accelerate's looking at some trouble. There goes the Crow Storm. There's the Hemo Plague onto Braceros. He's going to burn down. That's 1 kill. This has gone the way of LZ and Accelerate so far. Now Papa has the flash. Can he get away? The Bountiful Harvest still going to collect its mark, but Accelerate can't push any further without him and his cooldowns available. Alistar has to be careful here in the bot lane. Hex Flash looking from Birdman, but they don't find it. That's 1 good kill to Lotus, but they're going to need a lot more to bring this one back.
Yeah, nice turnaround from Lotus. It's a good play. Again, that level 6 mark just going to be stronger for Fiddlesticks. Alistair's got to run.
Oh, he's dead to rights. Goodbye, sweet prince. Accelerate under the turret. He's going to juggle aggro perfectly there. But here comes Rosero. Flash away over the wall from LZ. Meanwhile, bot side, it was WyoBoomers picking up a kill onto Alistair, who tried to flash, tried to use the ulti to escape, but that encore stolen away is such a big tool for Trinity to use. As engage in mid lane will fall short there. JBL able to relentless pursuit out, and Paul Goat and Birdman will get some free lonely time with this bot tier 1.
Yes, they will. And, you know, it's a good response from Lotus. They recognize the plays happening bot side. Trinity has roamed down there, so they say, you know what, let's just, you know, camp top. Let's make sure this happens. There's no ulti. I don't think you can get this done.
Trinity has flash as well. JBL had the culling and ignite, but they won't find very much. And Lotus trying to force plays. You can see LZ desperately showing up in lanes, and they get one on top side. Now the recalls come through. Do they feel strong enough? Do you think Lotus should fight this one, DJ?
Looking across the items, I think you can. There's no mythics in here really for anyone, so I would say you're in a fairly solid state at the moment. The backs have not yet come in for WyoBoomers. They're gonna want to use the gold that they just got to back, but they're not gonna have time. So yeah, I think this could be a good fight angle. Again, LZ's ulti is just always gonna be worth more than Rosero's. This is the moment when you're strong on Fiddlesticks comparatively.
There's a two-man encore. Trinity going low. LG's down to the back line. He found himself a good cross throw. I'm gonna go golden with a nice stopwatch. Trinity burning, ticking low. Exhaust is there, but he's not gonna be killed. And LZ's the first one to drop. Big damage pouring through now. Alistair's putting a couple boomerangs into the back of these members. Kiwi gonna be able to heal everyone up for now. But do WyoBoomers feel confident yet again to step up to this dragon? Lotus actually not, as they will pull away for now. Can they step back up is the question. They will pull off. They'll get their waves. They'll retreat back to their lanes and deny the objective for now. Wyo, though, still want more. They're still looking. Rosero gonna go low. Stun onto Accelerate. Palm Goat not gonna get rooted. Damage through, and it's good. But for now, Dragon's still uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Lotus, you can't make that play because the member that died for you is your jungler. So if you go for the Drake, Rosero's just going to flash into the pit, steal it away from you. He'll likely lose his life for it, but you call worth on that every single time for the second Drake. So that's a really bad tempo play for Lotus because they waste an LZ ultimate. You know, these ultimates on are priceless. You have to get things with them, objectives, team fight wins, whatever it is. Instead, they don't get any kills. They don't get the Drake, and Wyo's just able to walk away, reset, and get ready for this Drake, which should now be fully in their control. You can see the ulti not quite up for LZ. They do elect to just walk away from it. Oh boy.
That was
okay.
That looked so strange to me, to be honest, TJ. It was a stolen Crow Storm, and Trinity's ult will not be available for a little bit. Let's see if Lotus decide to punish. They're thinking about it. LZ's got his ult here in a couple seconds. Kiwi no encore though, and that is a big initiation tool, so they will not go for it, especially with that TP coming through. This is Dragon number 2, gonna be handed on over, barring some miracle steal, but there's nothing that can find the mark. That's the second TP feast for Papa.
Papa just coming down here, guaranteeing the ult. Again, they know that LZ's ulti is dangerous. It can create chaos in the team fights, and they're willing to use that TP. He's just going to walk back to lane. He won't really miss out on that much, I think, and you're always happy to be even or behind on CSS to Cho'Gath. Really, the only loss is you're giving Accelerate time to scale up. You know, at this point, Accelerate looks to be the most dangerous member in this game. Alistair on a more supportive pick in the Sivir will do a ton of damage the later the game goes on. But again, they don't really have a composition. You know, it's going to be so hard for them to team fight, in particular for Alistair to stay alive when you got 3 champs that want to go in and 0 frontline. So, you know, I think these trades are just all worth it for WyoBoomers because the more objectives you take, you're eventually going to just force a 5v5 fight around an important objective, and you're probably just going to win it.
Yeah, you've got to find a big engage somewhere, right? It's got to be Kiwi. It's got to be LZ. Something here has to start the fight. And it's not like they have a big headbutt pull combo. They don't have the run and stun Udyr to start things off. It's all about these skill shots and this strange now Fiddlesticks engage angle that you have to think about if you are WyoBoomers. So we'll see how they deal with that as the fights come through. LZ sitting here on top side, maybe looking for a bait. Accelerate, trying to pull that one in.
Oh,
and
no.
that is, again, that's a big cooldown. Going to be burned. Papa just didn't walk up far enough, smelling the danger of the Fiddlesticks and not going to fall for the trap.
Yeah, I mean, he's got flash, too. So I don't even know if you would have killed him. And now you're going to force out the Vladimir ulti. So, you know, fortunately for Lotus, there's nothing really up on the map. Just that one Rift Herald in topside, which honestly, Rosero could just run up and take now. There's no LZ ultimate for another minute and a half. There's no Hemo Plague as well. So I don't think there's any chance you win a team fight. But instead, they just want to set up a trap. Nice ward there, Alistair. Well played.
And I'll get a Q as well. The tier will be charged up. Feels real good there for Alistair, getting some more stacks on that one, but still working on the Mythic. Pretty far behind Palm Goat at this point. Has about 500 gold to spend, but so does Palm Goat. So really just operating at that slight deficit. Maybe going to base now, looking to complete that item. There he goes, trying to channel the recall. Should get that one off, no problem. Going to be able to pick up that Mythic depending on what it is. I expect a Kraken Slayer. Then again, could be Gale Force, but there it is, double Kraken Slayer. These 80 carries, just like last time, going to be dealing out massive physical damage between JBL and Alistair.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, right? You're up against basically a 3-tank composition here when the Alistair has ultimate, so you need some sort of shred if you want to get through these members. It's going to be very, very difficult, particularly when the Cho'Gath likely going to itemize a little bit of extra MR. Trinity.
Ooh, JVL, nice play. Forcing the flash. Call that one worth. Ignite for flash and ult. Definitely good there. No flash on Trinity means much harder access to the backline come team fight time.
Yep, it's a very nice play there. Again, recognizing the item disparity as he will take down the first turret, and this is what you want to do on the Lucian. Okay. There's not a lot of follow-up damage here from Birdman.
Yeah, I don't think JVL actually needed a flash, but I don't think he knew where Trinity was, so just respecting the possibility of the follow through, and will burn the flash, so call it really even at the end of the day there in mid lane. Both not going to have their flashes available. Papa looking for a play maybe in top side. Again, won't find very much. You can see the aggression from both these teams looking, but not necessarily finding very much. Minute on Dragon. This would be third to Wyo. Need these big ultimates. You need the Encore. You need the Crowstorm from LZ, or you just can't fight this one. So looking to set up nice and early, make them walk into you. Make them walk into the Encore and Crowstorm.
Yeah, I do think you need to set up pretty early for this Drake, and you're going to need to win the fight if you are Lotus. So recall should come through. They all have mythics except for Seraphine. The same can almost be said for the likes of Wyo. They're just waiting on Trinity, who doesn't have it yet. So a little bit behind, which again is what you would expect a little bit from the Lucian lane, but give some credit to JVL for getting some advantages. I do think Trinity fell a little behind when roaming to help out the other lanes, but should still be fine as the game goes on. Will be a little bit weaker than normal for this team fight, though, so keep an eye on that, because again, Lotus needs this. They do have TP on Accelerate, so he can just pressure here. Papa elects to be here early, so the setup is actually in for Wyo, which I do like. As you said, it's really good setup that will, oh boy.
Wow, that was so aggressive from Rosero, but JBL had the E. There's the Fiddle ulti. They're going to find Palm Goat, but the flash and the cleanse out. That's a 3-man encore. Onto the back line. Accelerate is going deep now. Birdman's going to go low, going to be taken down. Killed first man of the fight, going to be smited away by LZ. Accelerate found Palm Goat as well. This is a Lotus fight, and they're going to wipe away the chances that Wyo had. Flashed over the wall from Papa to get away, but good God, man, Accelerate couldn't be any better on this Vladimir. Couldn't be any better from Kiwi with a beautiful engage. Lotus will deny Soul Point and look to pull off the impossible.
Yeah, huge fight there from Lotus. They make it happen with the overlapping ultimates we mentioned. They all have their mythics except for their support. Trinity was not quite there yet, and it was a bit of an awkward angle for Palm Goat getting into that fight. They pulled the trigger when Palm Goat came up from bottom side. They wanted to get onto the vein, take away the damage, and while he was able to flash away from the Fiddlesticks ultimate, the follow-up came through from Accelerate. They managed to take it down, and with the split fight, they pick up 2 kills, and they pick up the Drake, finding themselves in about a 1.5K gold lead. So I like the play from Lotus. They're looking pretty good here. Still, it's an awkward composition you're going to have to navigate. It's going to get harder when mythics come through, but if you can set up like that and continue to pick out Palm Goat, you're always going to have a chance in these fights.
And there's so much I wanted to say about that upcoming fight, but it just happened so quickly. LZ over the wall finds Palm Goat, and then Accelerate committing everything, the flash and ulti, to find the final bits of damage onto Palm Goat. And you know, DJ, I'll always be honest with you. Palm Goat messed up. He tried to get to his team in a greedy pathing way. He tried to cut in front of the pit instead of taking the long route behind, and LZ capitalized. Lotus find a big turnaround at that dragon, and this is what their composition always needed. Yes, it's awkward. Yes, it's not pretty, but if you have a gold lead, it can work out in your favor, along with the top lane gank. But yeah, that's not a lot of damage, to be fair. Papa not really in any trouble. LZ actually looking for the play with the ulti, but the TPs are being committed. Accelerate might just be chomped down on if he's not careful. Email Plague's gonna come in. There's a bountiful harvest from LZ, but only gonna do a little bit. Trinity is gonna steal that one away and actually walk out with a Crow Storm of his own. Lots here in the top lane, but no one falls over.
Yeah, it's a lot of expenditure from both sides, but the reason that Wyo is just happy to disengage is because the split push is coming through from Palm Goat. They took down the turret in the bot lane. JVL's been forced to answer, but even to level up, this is a very skill matchup in the 1v1 in the side lane. So Wyo just very happy to force a lot of summoners out, disengage away, and will just allow Palm Goat to keep getting big in this side lane, nearly at 2 items. And while they do lose the teleport from Trinity, nobody dies, and they're just going to reset. Next Drake in 2.5 minutes. It is Cloud Soul for this game, and we'll have to see what the setup is for that objective. Don't think anyone's going over to the Baron, so I expect our next action to be around that Drake.
And Accelerate, the first man to reach 2 items here, has picked up a full Morellonomicon with that cull. A little bit of extra gold gonna get him to his item breakpoint just ever so sooner. JVL with beautiful CS numbers here, gonna keep himself at 2 items as well. Accelerate, good Hemo Plague there. Could have been, excuse me, the Sanguine Pool is Alistair actually looking for this one. There's the flash encore. Papa may be in some trouble, trying to down the tower. Aggro Alistair. Good spell shield. Is he out? Indeed. Guardian to safety. They find Papa in a 2v1, but here comes the reinforcements. Trinity's now found his way with a nice Everfrost. Has the encore as well if he needs to use it, but I don't think he does. Alistair, nice sidestep, but how can he win this one in a 1v3? Alistair's dead to rights. Alistair is dead. It does not matter. They get 1, they lose 2. Will they be up in time for a dragon? A culling in the mid lane. That's a nice fear. Palm Goat has to cleanse. Again, greedy pathing will cost him summoners and his ulti. Drag is up in a minute, but we don't have time for analysis. We don't have time to think about who's going to be up and not. Bracero's chasing down mid lane. They will disengage. Now we have some time to breathe before this critical dragon fight.
Okay, let's take a look across the map here. We've got Mythics now all the way in for all the members of WyoBoomers, so they won't be that far behind. 2 items in. It's double Kraken Slayer Essence Reaver for the Sivir and the Lucian. You got that Morellonomicon in for the Vladimir. It's a bit of a cheap item, so I'm not surprised that he ended up at 2 items first. Palm Goat, what are you doing?
Palm Goat has flash, but he might just die. Palm Goat's he dead? What? Palm Goat! This is not the number 280 carry that we were expecting. He's got 2 items. Dragon is up and he's dead for it. That is a simple misplay in mid lane that may cost you the game. Sure, it's only a dragon, but these objectives don't come lightly. And Accelerate with a big ultimate there in mid lane to find the 80 carry. And this fight, really, you should never take. 4 members a team does not make. And Wyo hovering here thinking about fighting this one.
They may just try to steal the Drake and take some sacrifices. I think that's what they're thinking here. They don't want a full fight, that's for sure. They're just going to see if they can get the right angle.
There's the Crow Storm. Can it be secured? But Trinity stolen the dragon. The fight's going to break out somehow. They found the fight. Cubism's going to go down along with Alistair. And on the run is accelerating. JBL looking to turn things around. There's your Sanguine Pool doing a lot of damage. Maybe they got enough to turn this one around. JBL's got a double kill. Israelic's looking for more. Flashing over the wall as Palm Goats re-arrive. Tumbling forward. One more shot in the back. And the 80 carries back in the fight once more. That was a close fight. DJ 4-4, man, this game is anyone's to take.
Yeah, what a game. These two teams have just gone at each other all day. We had a bit of a lull in the action, I would say, in game number 2, when the composition and the play from Wyo sort of tilted Lotus off the face of the earth, but they came back strong in game number 3, and now we are just throwing it back and forth again in game number 4. But give some credit to WyoBoomers. In a 4v5, they go 4 for 4, and they pick up the Drake. I was telling you, they wanted the angle with the Fiddlesticks ulti, with the Cho'Gath, and they make it happen. So now it's only 4 minutes away, that sole point for them, and they continue to get stronger and stronger. Trinity is 4-0-4 on this Sylas. It doesn't matter how much executioner's calling you have. That is threatening to your team composition. Again, particularly when you have no front line. Did you see how fast Alistair went down in that fight? You want to know why? Because nobody can block for him. Nobody can take anything. Nobody can take any damage. Really, the carry is JVL, who's dishing out damage in these team fights because he can dash away. He's got a little bit of agency on his champion, but they just die so quickly when the AoE comes in, when the tanky bodies rush forward. They're gonna have to find a better setup because they can't lose another fight around Drake, or they're gonna be down a soul, and then again they're gonna have to set up for a Baron fight where they might just lose the game. I want to see Lotus set up from these weird angles, try to find picks on Palm Goat, try to not group up for this team composition because they've got to win these fights. They've got to execute at the highest level because of what they drafted for themselves. I know they have the skill to do it, but it's been up and down all day long. You know Alistair will deliver, but will accelerate. Will JVL when the time comes?
And the time is near, and it's now. DJ, you got 2.5 minutes to shape up for this dragon, or Lotus could find themselves out of playoffs entirely, kicked out by the one and only WyoBoomers. And the price I would pay to see Trinity steal that dragon again. He is a miracle worker in mid lane. There's a reason he was voted in the all-pro scene, and you get to see it here. 4-0-4 when it matters most for this squad. Trinity shows up and he comes up big, getting soul point, Cloud Soul to an Udyr Alistar Vayne. That is what nightmares are made of. And you've only got 2 minutes now. It feels like we just fought over the dragon, but only a minute 45, man. That timer just keeps ticking and I'm getting more and more nervous.
Yeah, timer is taken away. We look across the Moonstone in for Seraphine now, still working towards the second item. We've got 2.5 for Accelerate. The Rocket Belt and the Zhonya is now critically available for LZ, so we'll be able to go immune at the start of the fight. 2 armor pen items from both of the mid laners. They're basically just mirroring each other's build, except that JVL hasn't finished his boots and Alistair has, but it's literally the same across the board. But 2 items in for basically everyone on the board here. The Zhonya's also available for Trinity, still sitting 4-0-4 on this Sylas, and critically now, 3rd item in for Vayne. Palm Goat with the Infinity Edge to go along with that Immortal Shield Bow and the Mortal Reminder. This is getting scary if you are Lotus.
Palm Goat have to find a way to deal with it. Again, it's all about that upfront burst. Can you find the Crowstorm or the Hemoplaguer, maybe even the Encore? But there has to be something pressuring these carries in Trinity and Palm Goat, or they will free fire. And again, there's no one to frontline for Lotus. They have to get the burst. They have to find the combo. Looking, is Birdman, he might just go down. This would be a critical pick. Stays alive, 25 seconds, and that's going to mean priority. No culling. I think it's going to be worth because you get to set up, but oh my gosh, they're doing Baron. they're doing Baron right now?
I don't know. They're going to take this Drake. They're going to lose this Baron. WyoBoomers has the moves. It's going to be too late. There's no way they're going to stop this. And, oh my God, Birdman's booking it towards Drake. It's going to come up in a second. They will burst it down. So I think, yeah, they will get it. But this is a trade. This is brilliant from WyoBoomers.
They trade a normal Cloud Soul for Baron buff, and Lotus, caught napping on the map, will lose the Baron purple Space Worm here for the next 4 or so minutes. That is a massive buff to WyoBoomers. Their gold lead is 2,000, but that is going to explode. And with a composition that scales so well, that could be the nail in the coffin. Lotus have to pull on a miracle defense.
Okay, good news for Lotus. They've got a lot of wave clear here. A Sivir and a Seraphine will do work even against Baron up minions, but honestly, if a turret goes low, Wyo can just push the engage button. Like, how do you fend off a siege with this composition? Nobody can take any damage for you, so the second you get a knockup, the second any CC lands, everyone's just gonna die. This is gonna be so hard from Lotus. They have to be so careful as they clear these waves away. You can see Birdman already setting up on the flank for a potential engage as this top lane turret goes low.
The climax of this game may have just been reached. Accelerate loses half his health bar to 3 Vayne autos, and here comes the flank. The charm won't find much. Alistair spell shield and a good flash, but this might be the re-engage angle. They're gonna look on Birdman. What damage on the Palm Goat? LZ's in the middle of it. We're gonna go golden. So much damage from Accelerate. Lotus, they've done it. They're gonna turn the fight around. 4 for nothing, DJ. That was beautiful. Spell shield flashes and all. LZ and Accelerate duo for a massive re-engage. They don't have a tank. They don't have a front line. They don't even have a damn composition. They don't care about your analysis. All they want is a fight. They're gonna take it and grab a win.
Yeah, just so well executed. They make the miracle fight happen. They do exactly what they want. All the upfront damage comes out. Palm Goat cannot stay alive through it. The shield, though, is not enough to keep him up, and everybody just melts under the engage. And it was a great turnaround. The initial engage that came out from WyoBoomers just didn't land. Missed with the stolen Seraphine ulti. That one spell shielded away. Alistair goes in, that one flashed away from, and then the turnaround comes. Both of the frontliners had already gone in. It allowed access for Accelerate and LZ. Beautifully executed. They stave off the Baron push. They have now evened up the gold, and the trade looks worth it at the moment. There will be some execution come out in these fights, but again, if they can just keep Accelerate out, I think it still will be hard, and Palm Goat's just going to keep getting stronger. Up in 2 minutes 14. Can Lotus do it again?
Looking for one more miracle to pull off a game 5 in a series that should have never been allowed to get this far. WyoBoomers are holding on for dear life, but Lotus are relentless in their pursuit after the trophy. After coming up short last season, there is nothing that will stand in their way, and this might be the macro call that decides it all. They're gonna march straight down mid lane. Dragon's not up for 90 seconds, and Papa and Rosero are here trying to get a scuttle crab, but it's Lotus that are just pushing down mid. They're going to pull away for now, understanding the recalls have come through. They will now do some jungling of their own, clearing away some camps, and have grabbed mid lane priority for the critical dragon fight in about 90 seconds.
Yep, they're just going to shove that one down. But again, there's already some wards in the river for WyoBoomers. Kind of a your time, my time state at the moment. You see some wards scattered around for the likes of Lotus. Could be a flank ward there, but I expect Wyo will look to clear this vision out. Will look to try to get priority set up. Again, they can sort of just walk into chokes because they have these tanks. And you can't expend your ultimates on the tanks. Like, you've got to be aiming for Palm Goat. If you don't hit him, if he stays alive, he's just going to turn the fight around in all likelihood as it goes on. So you see Wyo getting their priority. Again, it's just going to take a coordinated engage. Oh, boy.
Knock up onto Accelerate, should be fine, always has the pool available, but Lotus are trying to find an angle back into this one. That's Encore for Trinity. Talk about critical ultimates, DJ. This one is massive for Trinity. Last time we saw it was in that top lane skirmish. It hit no one. Only a spell shield to be found by Trinity with that Encore. And now the dragon is spawning in 20 seconds. This timer ticking lower and lower. But Lotus are still looking to push down mid.
Yeah, they want to get prio. They want to try and shove. They don't want a 5v5, I think. You know, they can pull it off. Are they just going to give this up for an inhib?
They may just give up the soul. Palmgoat's staying, and they're going to may look to end here. This could be disaster.
No,
The recall.
Trinity's already back. Trinity's already back.
They're going to be able to defend. That was scary for a second, but yes, the wave was too strong. Inhibitor for soul is the call here for Lotus. An interesting macro decision. As there you go. It's finally gone down. Rosero forced to flash. JVL going to dodge out on the encore. Trinity finally having to use that one. As 2 items is in for Kiwi. He can keep everyone topped up nice and healthy here. Inhibitor is the play. They're comfortable giving Cloud Soul, but this is a massive decision being made by Lotus. DJ, you got it. You got to get out your big book of analysis, my man, because this game is going to go down to the wire.
I mean, in all likelihood, it's going to come down to an Elder fight at this point in 5.5 minutes. If we do get to that point, I'm not really sure I buy the call from Lotus here. Like, I mean, one wave of supers coming down mid does not make pressure, I think, against this composition. A Baron is spawning. They can try to feign that, but I don't think Wyo will have any trouble pushing away these minions. And now they have a perma buff on their team. You know, I know it's not Ocean Soul or Infernal Soul, but this will be a very nice buff. I don't think you engage on
Ooh, LZ has lost his flash, and there's the engage. It's going to find one. Rosero's going to be the member taken down, but they haven't found Palmgoat just quite yet. Papa Francesco very healthy in the fight. Look at the damage pouring through. They found 3 members. It's only Rosero going to go down. Accelerate has nothing left. He's only got the ulti. Trying to turn this one around. Birdman's going to go low. Palmgoat going to take a lot of damage, but no, it's over. Ring the bells. JVL's the only one standing left to flash away. The fight is over. They've lost it. 4 for 2 in the trade. They couldn't pull off the engage. Nothing to be found there for Lotus except the jungle and support. Do they go for the Baron? Palmgoat still has so much damage left, and yeah, they're gonna start this one up. JVL still alive. The TP's coming in. Baron is Wyo's.
Yeah, I mean, easy Baron there. JVL can't do anything here. I mean, he could show up. He's probably just going to get 1v1 by Palmgoat at this point in the game. So this one will be feasted away. And yeah, I think LZ just got a little bit nervous there. Pressed the Zhonya's button a little too soon. That triggered the engage because LZ flashed away, but he immediately ultied after, and it only landed on Rosero. Sure, you killed the jungler, but you didn't get anything on the Palmgoat. It's just a free fight for the AD carry. The rest of the damage comes out. Papa absorbs so much in the front line. And again, that's what it looks like to team fight with a composition versus with, you know, a wombo combo, really. Not really a composition. When it does go wrong, when it's not perfect, you're gonna lose. And now they're facing another Baron. WyoBoomers already through once with the Baron, so they're gonna have to watch themselves this time around as they try to push into the enemy base, but they do have control over the map once again. They could look to push in, try to get an inhib or 2, and then hopefully fall back to this Elder in 3 minutes time. You don't want to lose that buff. That is really, I think, I see that could turn the game around for Lotus.
Palmgoat stayed alive in the fight, and the man has a Spirit Visage to avoid that AP burst. What a big brain purchase here from Palm. All the healing that's going to come through. That's massive.
I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, like, you don't need damage against this composition. Like, you will kill all of these members in 3 autos, like, regardless of what your items are. Your champion alone will do that. So I 100% agree. I think this is absolutely big brain from Palmgoat. I mean, it's the same reason he has the shield bow. You know, all he needs to do is stay alive against the initial burst engage. And yeah, nothing better than do that than a Spirit Visage. So absolutely give the man a, you know, 500 IQ, 2000 IQ, whatever you want. That is a smart buy.
That's simply a better build, and Alistair still working on completing that last item, as Palmgoat is as well. It's a race to full build, but a race to defend your base now is Lotus. They have to frantically move around the map, clear out the waves against the Baron Empowered Siege. It's 5 turrets to 6. Yes, it's close. The gold is slightly in favor of Wyo at this point in the game. 4,000 isn't too much at 39 minutes, but you just have to ask, how much longer can you ask for miracles? How many more dream fights can you require for Lotus to keep getting back into this game? And all the priority you could ever ask for now set up for Elder Wyo. Have this one on lock.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here. They're going to push safely. They're going to get vision in the jungle so they can push the waves in. They'll hope they can get an inhib and a turret. If they can't, they will fall back to the Elder through all of this vision and look to collapse on the on the Lotus composition. This is just so dangerous for Lotus. They're going to have to walk in blind. And who the heck on your team can face check for free?
Absolutely no one. No one here. LZ basically has to ult over a wall if he wants to get into this fight at all. 50 seconds remaining. You can see Alistair doing his best to wave clear these minions, as Sivir does that quite well. It's the point in the game where Sivir can really just start spamming those spells, clearing out every wave necessary. But how do Lotus approach this one? 35 seconds now on the timer. Trinity pushing in mid. Rosero, Papa pushing in top, and they're not relenting. They're going to make Lotus respond one way or another, and they're going to give up the wave. I believe it's pushing out back into them, so they're going to have to be careful about it. But Kiwi trying to usher in the squad here. Maybe Lotus don't even want to fight. Maybe it's a feint. I don't know. This one's going to come down to one last fight.
Okay, so Papa just back to pick up another item. I think he comes out with the Titanic Hydra, so that is why they are giving up priority right now, but he is going to get back in time as this spawns. And man, it's all going to come down to this, Necrox. This is it. They do have access to the river. They have enough vision. They're going to get an engage, but will it be enough?
Papa's here on the flank. They engage onto accelerate. It's a two-man try to make it three. There's the engage. Just found a couple members. The calling gonna go across. Birdman gonna go low, but Palm Goat is untouched in the fight. Big knock up. Palm Goat's gonna do a lot of damage. Here you go, but he's one shot. He's dead. They found Palm Goat. There's your engage from Lotus. They're gonna make it a 2-for-1. JVL soon to fall, making it 2-for-2 as Kiwiism goes down. Papa Francesco still very tanky. He's gonna go down as well. Trinity has to be a miracle. We're gonna turn this thing back around. Oh my God! I do not believe it! Lotus are gonna end this game! We're going to game 5!
I think we are. I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. Their next respawn timer is 33 seconds. They're very low, but they are just going to end the game. They've got the wave.
I cannot believe it. Lotus ask for miracles and the angels sing in response. In 42 minutes, they'll crack the base and the Nexus. We have a possible first ever reverse sweep on our hands, DJ. This is not the way I expected the night to go, but I'd want it no other way.
I can't believe it, Necrox. We've seen 2 miracle comebacks, and this one is even more miraculous than the first one because this isn't a real composition. How do you win these team fights if you are Lotus? This is incredible from them. They find a way to kill Palm Goat in that fight. I think he probably went a little too far. He's separated from his team. They exhausted him. They took him down, and there just wasn't enough left at the end of it to win the fight. Somehow Lotus have done it, and they're going to force us to a game 5.
Game 5, Silver Scrapes looking for the impossible here. Lotus, reverse sweep on the table. Everything is on the line. I've said it before. I've said your backs up are against the wall. I've said you gotta hit them hard, throw your punches, but man, if I've ever said it, I mean it now. This is it. For both of these teams, WyoBoomers came out strong tonight, but they've let 2 games slip in between the cracks, and they need to clean it up now. But Lotus are looking for everything in quarterfinals, just looking to get to semis. Excellency Heavy League will be right back.